The rebooting of Stephen King's universe back on the big screen continues with the latest release, and some may worry about it after Pet Sematary had came out. Was this one good? Was it bad? Did it live up to the original? Did it surpass it? Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn Confessional, and this is Dave from Nerdbox, and I'm accompanied by my wife Jen, also from Nerdbox. And on this episode, we are talking about Firestarter 2022. So fire up that Jiffy Pop and meet us in the booth.
A young couple, Andy and Vicky McGee, are in hiding after years of experimentation by a government agency, the Shop. They are accidentally discovered after their daughter Charlie causes an explosion at school and are forced to go on the run. The Shop, however, catches up to them and captures Andy, leaving Charlie alone in the woods to plan her revenge.
First off, thank you for watching this video. Thank you. We appreciate you for watching our other videos. As you've seen and as requested by our subscribers, we've been posting out some different videos. So you'll see some streaming news, which will slowly start to expand on it. You have some movie news that's out there. So there's some Halloween stuff out there, some Scream stuff out there. Easter eggs, still working on the Easter eggs as well. So go ahead and check out all those other items. And also just to let you know, got a new interview coming up with Donna Jean's Coffee House and a new season of 5 Things that's coming up. So be sure to like this video because we have a bunch of posters that we're going to start giving away in a couple of the next few episodes. So we'll start showing those off in this. So definitely like. It helps expand our audience. So we appreciate you. So Firestarter, we saw this Thursday night. We didn't rush to get the review done because the original, right? The original for us growing up, not as much today, has that one iconic scene that's kind of burned into your brain. And that is when Charlie, at the end of the movie, is just blowing stuff up. She's setting people on fire, flipping cars, and her hair is just like, woo, all over the place. Mm-hmm. So, after watching the movie, it's like, hey, let's go watch the original, compare the two for this review to see if it's better or not. Mm-hmm. Because I seen it when I was a kid, and then we watched it with our kids a few years ago, and it just doesn't stick out.
No.
And having gone back and watched it, now I know why. So, if you haven't seen the original is 2 hours, probably 40 minutes too long.
Yeah, there was really no reason for it to be as long as it was. And there was just a whole lot we picked up on this time around that we kind of didn't ever in the past. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that the guy who played the father was really handsy with Drew Barrymore. Mm-hmm. It had a real creep factor to it, and it made me feel dirty. Yeah,
you figure the times that we're in now and all the things that have come out and changed in Hollywood, and you just see it and it's like you weren't looking for it, but it's like,
yeah,
that doesn't look right.
No, I was very uncomfortable with it when I was watching it. I was like, oh no, like, why is his hand there? Why did he kiss her on the mouth? That one really got me. I was like, no.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about that stuff. We're here to talk about the new Firestarter, and this one was around an hour and 15, an hour and 20 minutes. It was a short one.
It was an hour and a half.
Yeah. And I have to say, I thought it was better than the original because it doesn't have a lot of that prolonged story at the end of it, right? And a lot of this stuff that we've seen in this version made sense more.
Yeah.
You know, you have two parents that are very concerned about what they were brought up in and experimented with, so they're naturally trying to hide. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to conceal Charlie's powers, where in the beginning of the original, the father was like, oh, here, try to learn how to use this.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's like, no, you can't do it, you're bad. And that's within the first few minutes of her using her powers and not using her powers.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of brought it on yourself, dumbass. Yeah.
You have her burning a piece of toast, or trying to toast it, and then she goes too far, and they're like, all right, it's bedtime, and then she gets upset with the mom and catches her on fire. And then the dad's like, oh no, we can't do that. That was bad. Like, look what you did.
Yeah, and then the original, they're on foot walking, and they're always ahead of the Shop who has cars. Yeah. And it never made sense. But here, in the retelling of it, everything fits nicely, right? Zac Efron did an amazing job.
We talked about this before. We're big fans of Zac Efron. Not someone I don't think we really thought.
Say I'm a big fan.
Well,
I just think he's good.
He is good, and I think he's underrated in a lot of ways because of the way he looks. I mean,
We've talked about that in a couple of other reviews.
I mean,
too.
he's pretty. He's pretty to look at, and I think that he just gets a lot of flack for that as far as like they don't think he can be serious. They don't think he can do certain roles. I disagree. I think that he is really good. I think he can do a lot of different roles. I thought he was really good in this, and I thought the little girl was really good too.
Yeah, Ryan Kira, I think her name is. They had very good chemistry with each other, and the way this story plays out with them trying to have her conceal it and learn to control it, that makes sense. That really made sense. Yeah. And when stuff hits the fan, right, they go on the run, just like in the original movie. Not really giving you a spoiler here. And they encounter certain obstacles and scenarios that all make sense. And in this film here, which I called out yesterday, there's no whitewashing, right? So Rain Bird is an actual Native American.
Yes, he is.
So that character was elevated, I think, by the character choice. Though George C. Scott is still an amazing actor, and he did good what he had to do.
He was an amazing actor.
Probably him and Drew Barrymore in the original were probably the best parts about that.
There was just a lot of fluff in the first one that wasn't needed. Our girls, we watched it again last night because we're taking them tonight to see the new one, and they were like, "Is this over yet?" Like, I just want to go to bed because there was just a lot that wasn't needed.
Yeah, this movie stayed focused on the story.
Yeah.
The relationships were good. The antagonist was good. She wasn't, or he wasn't, on screen as much as they needed to be, but the way the story was told for the antagonist, they were a good antagonist for the film. Yeah.
And I like that they did, in case anyone's wondering, it doesn't take place in the past. Like they didn't try to make it like, oh, it's still in the 80s. It's not. It's current. They don't have cable. They don't have Wi-Fi because, smartphones, obviously they can be tracked through those things. So they did mention that and make that clear. So I thought that was really good too, because obviously if you had those things, that would be a red flag that, okay, how are they not tracking you?
Yep. Story had a very good pace to it. John Carpenter did the score.
He did.
Another good score. This was definitely 80s synthesizer.
Yes.
Throughout the movie, and it was just the right balance for it. It made sense in there.
Yeah.
And it was better than Pet Sematari's reboot.
It was. Yeah.
I think it was much better than it.
It was. I mean,
I like Pet Sematary. Yeah. We own Pet Sematary. It's not as good as the original. This movie here surpasses the original Firestarter by leaps and bounds.
It does.
It's better than the last reboot of a movie by Stephen King or by the studios. It's not It level, but it's good. I would have to say, right, if you think about Dr. Sleep, I really love that movie. You know how much I love that movie.
Yeah.
Firestarter, not as good as that one, but it's in the conversation right under it.
I think so. I agree as well. I just really all around liked this movie. I wasn't sure that I would because, of course, the original Firestarter came out when I was a kid. I'm a huge fan of Drew Barrymore. Not that I'm saying that Drew Barrymore wasn't amazing, because she just is. I mean, from the time she was this high, she was just an amazing actor. But, for me, that was just kind of like one of those, oh, that's a classic, because it's been around since I was a kid. But I don't think it has the watchability that the new one does.
Yeah, I agree. So what movie should be redone next? I think Thinner. That would be very chilling if they did that again.
Thinner, definitely. Bag of Bones.
Bag of Bones is still recent, and that's an amazing miniseries.
As recent as you think, and he loved it, and he doesn't even like Stephen King, and he liked the original.
I don't like Stephen King because in his books he rambles.
Well, that doesn't bother me.
It takes 3 pages to get to something you put in a paragraph.
You know what? He rambles.
I don't ramble.
Yes, you do.
No.
Yes, you do. You have to be reeled back in when you're writing stuff sometimes. Yes, you do.
Anyway, before we get into our ratings, I'm going to quickly say Zac Efron for Wolverine. What do you rate this movie?
I could see that. I would watch it again.
I would buy this one. As you may know, it's on Peacock. So you can go and watch it on Peacock, and I think you can rent it in a couple other spots. It is definitely worth watching. It's good to watch with the entire family.
Currently, Peacock is the only site that you can get it on. I looked it up. Yeah.
Anyway, it's good for the entire family to watch, so have some fun. If you have some daughters, watch it with them.
Yeah, and I mean...
Girl power.
Definitely. Our girls are all about that. So, I mean, my main reason for saying, like, definitely I would go see it again is because if you don't have to pay for the tickets, then why the hell not?
Unless you have a free pass like us. Then you just go for free and watch it.
That's what I'm saying. We don't have to pay for the tickets, so why not just go see it in the theater and instead of subscribing to Peacock that we'll never watch again. So...
Anyway.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Yes. And this Monday, tomorrow, bloopers. Every season that we finish a show, we put bloopers out, so they're pretty funny.
He screwed up a lot. Ask him to say John Krasinski.
Until the next, see ya.
See